Christians are worldly people because everything that the Christian church celebrates, it ain't in the Bible.
That's right.
They celebrate Christmas on the 25th of December. Somebody show me where in the Bible you could find that. They celebrate Easter, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. And guess what? None of those things in the Bible. None. Not one of those things, because those things are worldly things. Read it again.
After the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So rudiments of the world is talking about worldly traditions, man. Isn't it interesting to note that the Christian church celebrates everything that's not in the Bible? That's craziness to me, man. Read this for me. Let's see which day, according to the Bible, you're supposed to go to church. Watch this.
Exodus chapter 20 and verse 10. But the seventh day.
It says which day?
The seventh day.
Nah, my pastor said come church on a Sunday.
The seventh day.
Nah, it could be any day you want it to be.
The seventh day.
No, we're supposed to worship every day. This ain't talking about worship. Listen to me closely. You worship God every day, yes. But we're talking about the day of the Sabbath day that you're supposed to keep holy, man. Read it again.
But the seventh day.
I got a question to these Jamaicans, man. Y'all believe in the Bible, right? I know you do. I know you believe in Father God. Now watch this. What's that? What's that? God, you believe in God. Now, according to God, does God have rules? Does he have commandments? The commandments. He have commandments though. Now watch this. So if God have commandments, do you keep them? Do you keep the Sabbath day? If you not keep the Sabbath day, then guess what? When him return, him have a chop head, you know. No. Every day is not holy. Holy means set apart. He set apart one day. See, you need to be taught the scriptures again, brother. Because it says one day it must set apart to be holy. Which means what? Set apart. Which day was the day that he set apart? We're going to show you. Watch this. Exodus 20 and 10. Watch this.
Verse 10. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
You see that, my brother? It says the seventh day. Not on a Sunday. You know where you get Sunday from? The Romans them. The Romans them come and change it. You know where them change it from? Them change it from the Sabbath day. Oh, so the white boy them is who did that. And now our people out here destroyed don't know who they are. They don't even know that they're the Israelite, the bloodline Israelite them that come straight out of the Bible. The same people them who was in Egypt with Pharaoh and Moses are we people that. But the problem is the white boy them destroy we and tell we you are the Gentiles. How could that be when the Bible says that the Israelites them, according to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, would go into captivity again with ships. Slavery with ships. So I got a question. Who went into slavery with ships? And we. That's how we reach over to St. Kitts, Anguilla, Barbuda, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbuda. That's how we reach into these parts on slave ships. What if I told you, my Jamaican brother, that this is actually in the Bible? Would you believe me? We're going to show you. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
Now, we came over here on Liat.
With ships.
Now, we came over here on BWIA.
With ships.
It says with ships. So what I'm trying to show you before you go down the road. We're the same people that the Bible just said would come over into captivity with ships. So if that are we, and God said the reason why slavery happened is because we broke the commandments, then we got to do what? We got to come back to the commandments. All right? So check out the flyer, my brother. We love you. We're your brothers. All right? Manners and blessings. And big up yourself because you stopped, you listened, you gave it some time, and you let it marinate. You understand? We out here to wake up our brothers. You understand what I'm saying? Our brothers. We out here. No problem. I got you. Let me just pick up the brothers before. I got you.
Yeah, man.
It's manners and respect. So we know your brethren was here the last time, right? We hope when he comes back, hopefully when he comes back the next time, him listens the way you listen. So we respect you guys. We love you guys, and we want you to come back and listen some more, all right? Because we got to wake up, all right? Bless up yourself, King. Love and blessings. Good. So now the brother now. He said what now? You want Matthew?
Matthew chapter 26, 26.
Okay, good. We're going to read it for you. We're going to read it for you. We're going to read it for you. So he wants us to read it. He wants us to read Matthew 26. 20, 23 to?
26, chapter 26.
Chapter 26.
23 to 29.
23 to 29. Okay, good. So maybe the brother in there who's drinking the vitamins will send him out with the message, you see? But we're going to broke it down for him. We're going to broke it right down for him. We're going to show him that. Alright? Let's break it down for him. Matthew chapter 26. And start from where? Verse 23 said? Okay, good.
The book of Matthew chapter 26, verse 23. And he answered and said, He that dippeth his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goeth as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. And had been good.
So who is that? Who they're talking about when it says woe unto the person by the Son of Man that is betrayed? Who is that talking about? Who is that talking about? Okay, good. Good, brother. He knows something. Watch this. Read on.
Had been good for that man if he had not been born.
So it would have been good if Judas had not been born because he betrayed the Son of Man. Come on.
Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? He said unto him.
Now Judas playing very smart and pretending, like some people just fake pretend and say, who are me? You know, some people thief something from you and help you look for it. Judas was that kind of man. Read on.
Is it I? He said unto him, Thou hast said. And as they were eating, Jesus took bread and blessed it, and broke it, and gave it to the disciple, and said, Take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup, and gave thanks, and gave it to them, saying, Drink ye all of it, for it is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many of the remission of sin. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new. Until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father kingdom.
In the what?
In my Father kingdom.
So celebrating the Passover is going to happen in the kingdom as well. That's it on that? Good. So what's the point that you're trying to make with that now? We read it. We read it. Now, what's the breakdown to that? We read it. What point are you trying to validate with that? Come, we can't hear you, man. We can't hear you from behind the bar stool and the bar counter, man. We got to hear what you're trying to say, man.
Okay.
Good.
Read down 1 Corinthians chapter 11.
But wait, before we go to 1 Corinthians 11, we read this, right? Wait, hold on. You asked us to read it. We read it. Now we want to know, before we read something else, hold on, before we read something else, what point were you trying to make with that Matthew 26?
Listen now, listen. Upon the first day of the week, right? When did they drink and when did Christ break bread with them?
What does it mean to break bread, brother? What does it mean to break bread?
Passover.
So is the Passover the Sabbath? Hold on. Is the Passover the Sabbath? Is the Passover the Sabbath?
Hello.
Give me Leviticus 23. Let's show the brother the difference between the Passover and the Sabbath. What?
I'm asking you. He spoke about the New Testament and afterwards taking the fruit of the vine and the bread represents his body.
So what's the point that you're making?
Under the Old Testament, did they used to take the bread which represents Christ's body? Under the Old Testament.
Under the Old Testament, they had unleavened bread and wine for the Passover. What's the point that you're trying to make, man? They were keeping an Old Testament feast, man.
What is the significance of the breaking of bread and
The significance is that Christ was showing them the allegory between the bread and the wine being his sacrifice, which is to come when Judas is going to betray him and he's going to be sacrificed. So go ahead. So what is the point that you're trying to make? Okay, let's read 1 Corinthians 11 because you realize up to now he ain't making no point, right? With Matthew 26. Nowhere in Matthew 26 said you ain't supposed to be keeping the law. Nowhere said that. So now we're going to go to 1 Corinthians 11 for the brother. Let's go. So where are we reading from? 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 1. So I hope everybody realize we read Matthew 26 and the brother ain't proved 1 point, not one. Right? They were celebrating the Passover. Guess where the Passover comes from? Leviticus 23.
That's right.
Bing bong. But because you don't know the Bible, you don't know what they were celebrating. Now let's read 1 Corinthians 11 to see what point he making with this one. 1 Corinthians 11. What verse you want to start from? This looking bad for you, bro. We read Matthew 26. We realized you ain't made no point with that. Now we go to read 1 Corinthians 11 and 23. Good. Let's read that. 23.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 23. And when he had given thanks, he broke it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance.
I got a question. So now who's speaking here? He said Christ is speaking. The brother don't know the Bible. Who wrote Corinthians, man? Did Christ write Corinthians? Who wrote the book of Corinthians, man? Oh my goodness, this is looking bad. We can't hear you, man. Who wrote the book of Corinthians? Does anybody in there know? Because that brother don't know. Does anybody else know? Who wrote the book of Corinthians, man? Anybody got Google in there? Google it for the brother, man, because he's looking real bad for that brother right now. The Apostle Paul wrote the book of Corinthians, man.
That's right.
Since you don't know that, since I gotta teach you the Bible, since you didn't go Sunday school, we gonna read it for you. Watch this.
The first epistle of Paul.
The what?
The first epistle of Paul.
Read the book that is coming from.
The first epistle of Paul to the Corinthians.
To the who?
To the Corinthians.
What book you reading from?
1 Corinthians 11 and verse 23.
No, it says the first epistle of who?
The first epistle of Paul to the Corinthians.
No, Jesus wrote it.
The first epistle of Paul.
Nah, Christ himself wrote it.
The first epistle of Paul.
That brother don't know what the hell he talking about, man. Now go back to 1 Corinthians 11. Let's see what the point the brother trying to make, man. Let's read this.
For I.
Brother, looking real bad for you, man. Read that.
1 Corinthians 11 verse 23. For I have received of the Lord that which also I deliver unto you.
So now, Paul is celebrating what here? What is Paul celebrating here? The same thing that Christ and the disciples celebrated, man. The Passover, man.
That's right.
Let's read on.
Deliver unto you that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and said,
He what?
He broke it.
He what?
He broke it.
So Paul is recounting what happened when Christ broke bread with the disciples, man. Come on.
He broke it and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you.
So Paul is actually quoting what Christ said at the Passover, which was the last Passover for Christ, because he was to be sacrificed after that. Read on.
Broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
So Paul quoted Christ saying, This do in remembrance of me. Come on.
After the same manner, also he took up the cup. He took up the cup when he had stopped it, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my body.
Good. This cup is the New Testament, or the new witness to my what?
To my body. In my body. This do he, as oft as he drink it, in remembrance of me.
He says, as often do this in remembrance of me, meaning continue keeping the Passover, man.
That's right.
So if you ain't keeping the Passover, then you ain't got no argument in there, man. The question is this: do you keep the Passover? If you don't, then you ain't got no argument to what you're saying. What point are you trying to prove, man? Watch this, it even gets even better. Read on.
For as often as he eat this bread and drink this cup, he do show the Lord death till he come.
Till he what?
Till he come.
How often you supposed to keep the Passover?
Till he come.
Nah, it's for the Old Testament.
Till he come.
We're not supposed to keep the Passover still.
Till he come.
We're not supposed to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread still.
Till he come.
That brother don't know what they were celebrating in 1 Corinthians 11 nor in Matthew 26, man. They were celebrating what? The Passover. The Passover. The Passover. Guess where the Passover was written, my brother? My Dominican brother? It was written in Leviticus chapter 23. So I got a question for you, brother. Why is it, if it was mentioned first in Leviticus 23, why is it mentioned in Matthew 26, where Christ celebrated his last Passover, as well as Paul kept it in 1 Corinthians 11? That's the question I got for you. Why is Paul and Christ keeping something that's written in the Old Testament? Watch that. He can't answer that. You know why? Because that brother don't know the Bible, man. Watch this. Read this for me, man.
James 1:26. If any man among you seem to be religious,
like that brother, he seemed to be religious because he run outside in a frenzy. Why y'all don't go read Matthew chapter 26? I thought the brother coming with some profound knowledge that we never heard before. And when y'all done, go read 1 Corinthians 11. I thought the brother coming with something heavy, man. Read on.
If any man among you seem to be religious and bridle not his tongue, this man religion is vain.
This man religion is in vain. So whatever he believes, right, it's in vain. You know why? Because what he should have come was over here, ask us a question about the scriptures, because these men actually know the Bible and he doesn't. This brother don't realize this is our life right here, man. We studying these scriptures for how many years now? He think because he come over and he say, oh, read Matthew 26. What does that mean, brother? It means you don't know the scriptures, man. Now, we gonna go to the Bible where Christ said you gotta keep the law, man. Since that brother said we ain't gotta keep the law no more. Let's hear what Christ said. Let's go to the book of Matthew. Now, I want my brother there sitting down at the table with the Vitamal. I want you to turn to this passage with us. We're going to the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 18. And I want to show you something, my brother. Listen closely. Watch this.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled.
So I got a question for my Dominican brother, man. What did Jesus Christ just say right there? Read it again slow and nice for him so he could hear it.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
No, we ain't got to keep the law no more.
Shall in no wise pass from the law.
We ain't under the law no more.
Shall in no wise pass from the law.
Oh, because they were celebrating the Passover in Corinthians and Matthew 26. We ain't got to do that no more.
Shall in no wise pass from the law.
Brother, my Dominican brother, what you need to do is humble yourself and learn from the men of the Lord. You have been taught wrong according to Christianity, man. Christianity don't teach you the scriptures, man. Christianity don't break down the Bible for you, man. So up to now, you realize you have not made any point, right? And guess what? Up to now, right? The brother ain't even came out with a solid point whether to say we got to keep the law or not. He just said, oh, read this. Then when you're done, read this. What is he trying to say? Say what you're saying. Say what you're saying. Are we keeping God's laws? Yes or no? That's the question. Because if we don't got to keep God's laws, that means you can kill. Where's that written? Exodus 20 and verse 13, man. If we don't got to keep the law, that means another man could dig out your wife. It's called adultery. Since we ain't got to keep the law. Where's that written, man? That's written Leviticus 20 and verse 10, man. If we ain't got to keep the law, that means two men could lay down in the bed and rub down one another leg. Where's that written, man? That's Leviticus 18 and 22, man. So don't you dare tell me we're not under the law. Because even the smart policemen them up there that's guarding our city and looking out for our people, they know that any society must be under laws. Otherwise, if they don't have any laws in the society, the whole place will break out into anarchy and chaos if there's no laws. Since that brother don't think we got to keep the law, ask him if somebody come break in his house tonight, who's the first person he gonna call? He gonna run call police. Police! Somebody run in my house! Go look for them. Since we ain't under no law. If somebody break in your house, then don't call police then. Since we ain't under no law. Since we ain't under no law, when your wife start to give you a horn and bite you, just tell her, it's alright, baby, we ain't under no law. Do as you like, do as you please. You sound like a destroyed Negro with that mentality, man. Talking about we ain't gotta keep no law. We ain't under the law. Well, when your wife bites you then, just tell her, it's alright, baby. Continue biting me. Continue giving me headshots. Yeah, if we ain't under no law. You see how stupid that sound?